Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Looking a little blurry. Okay, that looks pretty good. Hey, James, what's going on? Oh my god. Oh, nice. How's the video looking? I mean, I apologize if you're driving. Um, but how's the video looking? How's the audio sounding? Very nice. Much appreciated, friend. Oh, and thank you for throwing it up in the chat. Can we hear music? Just want to make sure that's coming through and that's at appropriate level. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Okay, 7 people in the chat already. Very nice. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Welcome to some more Old World. Hey, really appreciate that, Beckelstein. I am new to the commentary game, so you're gonna have to bear with me if I am missing out on a couple of the steps. I am trying to operate this over on a iPad off to the next to me, so that's what I'll be reading the chat off of. But yeah, I'm also very excited to get into the commentary game. Scion has been kind enough to do so much effort for this tournament. So obviously the classics guys, shout out to Scion, shout out to Alcaraz, everybody over the dev team. This community tournament has honestly been amazing for me specifically. It's awesome seeing so much content for the game being posted around. And I feel like I've personally learned so much. So hopefully I'm able to shed a little bit more information for you guys and have a good time here on stream. We do have a delay of game. We heard from Seasand earlier this morning that he might be about 30 minutes late to the game. Yeah, we'll see everybody when they come along. Eight people in the chat. How's everybody doing this morning? I don't know what time zone everybody's in, but it's 8 a.m. where I'm at. It's 5 a.m. where Science at. No ballas. No idea exactly of how long they expect to play today. Um, I mean, knowing Sion, I know he's a bit of a marathon man. He's able to do the long streams, so I wouldn't be surprised if we had a bit of a longer game. But to be honest, I'm not really sure. Taking a look over at Seasand's previous games, which I had the pleasure of getting to view before the stream today, he also is capable of going for a pretty long time. So it really is up to our players. I'll be doing the best I can. I am working today, so I will have to pop off at a drop dead time of around 11:30 noon. But I'm easily able to commit at least 3 hours to the stream today. Let's go ahead and check in to see if our players have the game already preset. It'd be nice to take a look over at the board while we're waiting. Any secret moose projects I plan on working on? Well, so right now we are going to be doing the commentary. I have been mostly just workshopping, and shout out to Morden, Rincewind, Alcaraz, and a few others who have been doing a lot of talking shop about various strategies that we think are cool. Really coming up with a lot of cool stuff. I'm really excited for this second half of the tournament to come on through because I think we're going to be seeing a lot more variety in the game strategies that are coming on out. But I am very interested in doing a new game, a new playthrough coming out. but it's probably going to get delayed. I'm actually working right now on some of the Bull Moose University stuff. Looking to come out with a series of educational videos for new people coming to the game. There's obviously a lot to get covered. Anybody who's read my guides knows how deep this game goes. So there's a lot of topics to get covered. So I want to make sure all of that has a little bit of a library by the time that the next DLC rolls out, which, we don't have a time frame on. But when we do, it'd be nice to have that already in the backlog for, that massive spike of player interest that comes through. So that way people have something to fall back on and have something to lean on for getting involved in this game that we've all come to know and love. Hey, thank you very much, Fluffy. Yes, very exciting time. So excited to see Scion's first match. Seasand has the opportunity to be a real dark horse here. He did come in to join, I believe, for a fill-in for an open slot, so a little bit of a hero move there, and came in to win his first match. So if he's able to have a good showing here, win or lose, I'm excited to watch how he goes. But in the meantime, Jams, I mean, the majority of the content that's coming out with my name strapped to it is coming out of your channel. If anybody hasn't already had a chance to check it out, me and Jams put together a collaborative video doing a little bit of a coaching session on a Wonder Rush Egypt. That was a playthrough that I promised to put out on my channel, but I'm happy to do it along with Jams. It's been a lot of fun just hanging out and talking shop on Old World. So appreciate you keeping the context going. Hey, new episode next week. All right, cool. Looking forward to watching it. The edits on those have been really good, by the way, man. Much appreciated for the work you put into it. Oh, very cool. Hey, there we go. Thank you for the shout out, Beckelstein. Okay, join as observer. Anything I'm missing on clicking here? Yep. Okay. That's a shame. Would have loved to get a little bit of a view of the map. But it's not a bad thing to wait on in the meantime. Much anticipated for this game for a while, so waiting in a little extra, 9 minutes now? So everyone's got a chance to watch a lot of the games. What is your favorite strategies that you've seen implemented so far? Is there any archetypes that you have seen checked out? Anything that you want to see more content of? Oh, I see. Everyone's playing their cards close to their chest. Oh, here we go. Okay, we are in, and the players are already moving. Let's take a peek. All right, over in the east corner, we have Scientific. Looks like we're playing on a coastal rain basin. Very interesting map so far. Over in the west corner, we have our buddy Seasand. It'll be a corner familiar to him. He's played this side on the map before. Sometimes having a little bit of, familiarity is always nice in the gameplays. I've been running through a few test matches myself. And it is nice when you get used to scouting out in a particular way. There's a lot that can go into like the very early moves of a game, just like your early scout moves. Obviously, everybody knows about grabbing the promotion or general to make the clears easier. But there's a lot that can be read into somebody's just overall strategy, just based on where they move their scout and where they want to see the rest of the map. So if someone's scouting their back line, then they're more of a conservative player, want to clear out any threats to their north and south. If they're scouting directly into the middle, that's more of an aggressive move. So we'll go ahead and take a peek. Oh, good call. Oh, not a mirror. Interesting. I wonder if the players are aware of that. I don't know if it's out of school to be asking them about their map setup. All right, we do have music on, but neither of our players have access to drama. But we have a Babylon pick, a hero Babylon pick. Babylon being a very science economy focused nation, so seeing a hero strapped to them is actually super interesting. I'll be very curious to see where his tech path goes from here. Starting off with a artisan start, so obviously going to be heavy culture here in the capital for Scion. Very curious to see where he goes with that. Has signed on his leader as a general. Looks like we are looking at a educated hero, so not completely slouching on the science game. Very interesting. In response, we have a Rome start coming out. Rome is, of course, always very interesting, especially here, looking at this map. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 grove sites, 5 grove sites, just 6 grove sites, just in what he has already scouted on the map so far. So, of course, we can maybe even see a land consolidation play coming out of Rome with their early polis start. That would be very interesting to see. Scout-wise, we have Seasand going straight up the north, looking to take on pretty deep already into the closing in on the middle of the map. Obviously, that is his closest start besides the city site. Let's see if Babylon is doing the same. Oh, well, again, not a mirrored map. Yeah, I can't chat as an observer. Clear speed for Scion's going to be going pretty good. Double workers coming out. Getting down a excellent farm and a granary. So going for a heavy growth early start. Interesting to see. Scout running out directly towards the middle. An aggressive move out of Scion. Not surprising considering his early hero. Checking back over to Rome. Another hero himself. So we are both going double hero game. Super aggressive coming out of both of them. Neither of them choosing to slouch on science either. Educated versus intelligent. Intelligent's going to be the better play in the long run, considering the total science gains that you'll get from it. But educated is going to give Scion a bit of a boost early in the science. It's 15 to 13, so an extra 2 science boost. And it's going to give him additional critical hit chance on his general. The timer has been turned on. We will have to keep an eye out on this, but a very, very strong second city here for Scion, especially going with a hero start and getting the opportunity for 2 ore. Very, very interesting. Oh yeah, I would agree that double hero pick would be surprising, but in the pregame interview with both of the players, they both seem to be coming into this with the idea of a little bit of aggression. So actually isn't too surprising for me. Sion's a very aggressive player to begin with, and Seasand was looking to maybe step up a little bit of aggression of his own. It'll be interesting to see how he does coming out confidently in an aggressive play style up against a known strong opponent. Rome is a good pick for him here on this non-equal map. If he decides to go for the long game with his intelligent leader, then going for land consolidation can really pay dividends here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 growth starts in just 4 cities. It would be an insane pickup. Throw some landowners on top of that, and that's a lot of science that can be getting on very quickly. As far as the tribal game is concerned, we have a small bit of Thracians, predominantly going to be influencing the Babylonian gameplay here. Gauls down here in the south, Danes to the north, and then a smattering of... Oh, I guess there's one more Thracian site over here. Random to see them that far spread out from the rest of their tribe. But you can't really make too much of a play off of this. I mean, if one of the players is going to be expanding north, looking like that's where both of their scouts are heading in the direction of. So if we grab both of these sites and eliminate the Danes, whoever's able to either conquer the Gauls or get a peace deal with the Gauls could put the other person in an interesting position where they are going to have to deal with a series of raids coming on through. Already got our second city down, going double artisans, so going for a lot of heavy culture, a lot of desire for lumber mills and mines on this double gem start. I'm not too surprised by that. This also could have been a very nice gold capital if you wanted to go traders somewhere. I know he's a big fan of the traders to begin with, but he himself is going for Polis, an interesting choice on Babylon. Let's take a peek. If you're going for Polis, then he could be looking down the forestry line. That'll get him his free Akkadian archer pretty quickly. That could be actually quite devastating. Going the free archer, free Akkadian archer strategy here for Babylon would be a very interesting pickup. I kind of hope to see that. Starting out with the Slingers himself, it might just be a whole bunch of ranged units chasing down the middle of the map here. It is one of the harder maps to go hard aggressive on, considering the size comparison to the other maps available in the tournament, being Continent being the smallest, Inland Sea being the middle of the 3 options. Looking over at Rome, we're going with a husbandry start. Okay. Taking a look at husbandry, we already have spoked wheel after that, so going beeline down for chariots. Do we have the horses to back that up? Yeah, we have 1 horse in the capital. We have ore here, so we could be seeing warriors and chariots going up against Sion's archer play. That could be pretty interesting, depending on how well they use the terrain. Will be the massive decider here. Whoever can control the forest, if Seasand can control the woods here in the center and, orchestrate a attack here on this flat land where both of the players seem to be converging, that could be really advantageous for him. Melee here on defense and offense comes in hard over from the north. That could be pretty strong. Exciting to see a potential very aggressive game. We've been seeing a lot of people wait for their timing pushes. A lot of people wait for their unique units to come online, even 8 strength units to come online before major conflict comes on out. I'm guilty of the same. So it'll be very interesting to see a heavy-handed conflict coming out very early on in the match. Sion's got to be happy about that if it happens, because he's a very aggressive player. So getting to see something that plays directly into his play style, or something that he enjoys to play, has got to be a lot of fun. Only Sion has met the Gauls here at the bottom. He is also at war with them, getting that additional 6 legitimacy. Half an order is certainly good here in the early game. but we haven't had them meet. Likely going to, considering the direction of the Roman scout. We have our first wife, a scholar, who is no slouch in herself. 4 science coming off of her. A solid, what would that be? From 17 to 21, we're closing in on a 25% increase. That's pretty strong pickup for the early game. By comparison, we have the Seer Diphobe. You want to talk about an amazing pickup. Oh my god, she is one of my favorites. Get her assigned immediately. Would love to see her dropped in as a governor in the city of Roma. That would be an additional 3 science to add on top of the 18. It would make him immediately catch up to where Seasand is. Not quite, still be 2 science down, but that is not necessarily a misplay, but definitely something that we want to be seeing them adopt as soon as possible. He does have the civics for it. There's no reason to delay that particular pickup. Our players have still not met each other, missing each other like ships in the night, just cruising on past. Heir is already established here for Rome. Age of 4, 6 years before we can expect to see a tutor. But in their court, we have the seer themselves, so they will have a tutor availability if they don't assign them as a governor. She's better as a governor, but if you're not going to use her as a governor, I will accept the caveat of going for a tutor instead. Checking on the clear speed between the 2 players. Seasand already has his 3rd city down and already has his 4th site cleared, really showing off his know-how on how to go through tribal clears very efficiently. More military is not on its way. He's going for more settlers, assuming that he will have yet even another site cleared in 7 years. As far as Rome is concerned, we are still on 2 cities. 3rd site still not cleared, but will be cleaned up in short order. Conversely, we have 2 governors assigned for Babylon. Seasand does love his civics, so getting an extra 4 here in the capital out of this orator definitely seems like a play for him. And in the capital, we have a builder archetype. Okay. Who hates extra gold? And if you're rushing down the center of the tree, then you're not saving your civics for laws. So, you know, burn them while you got them. It does make me wonder what Rome is saving their civics for. About to be cresting over 300 here. It could be an order constraint. Maybe it's an order constraint. Maybe he's finding himself doing too many moves. We still have 9 orders left on the clock here. Hasn't moved his settler. Place for the settler to go. Definitely a more aggressive positioning for the Roman player here. Based on the tribes around, have they met? No, they have not met the Thracians. So we don't have to worry about this tribe raiding. In fact, if they never scout this way, I'm pretty certain that this tribe may raid all the way over to Babylon if they never meet and find out about the Romans. Game parameters in the top left icon. There you go, Fluffy. We are looking at a modest prosperity, normal tribe. Everything looks pretty standard. Coastal Rain Basin, a wide dual map. Allow customized leaders, lock save, no undo. No ruins, allow observers, yeah. Hey, Bold Gaming. Love to see more people beating the game on its highest difficulty. Love that. Welcome to the stream, man, and I hope you enjoy the content. I know I am. It has been a particular viewing paradise for me. So thank you to, again, comments on his comment. Thank you to everybody taking the time to really boost the stream numbers. It has been phenomenal. So, with Seasand's game coming on through, couldn't let it go unwatched. And apparently 16 people here in chat agree with me. So Much appreciated for you guys turning out for the first ever Moose stream. Hope you're enjoying the content, and let me know if there's anything I can do to make your viewing experience a little bit more pleasurable. Scion, as always, is not slouching on his quarries. Now, granted, they are on flat land, but he is using the obvious adjacency here for the mountain range around his capital. His expansion has minorly slowed, but not to an extent that I'd be worried. He's still well ahead of the Roman. We still don't see the seer dropped in the capital here. That would be a 6th increase on what you'd be able to provide to the capital before it even flips over to the next culture level. Also, I would like to see even an influence mission on her. So, guys, quick note: always take care of your court. Your most stats that you will ever get are going to be from the 5 characters up here. So, if you have good opinion with these characters, and you get that up over the certain thresholds of plus 100 or plus 200, it increases the rewards that you get from their stats and from their strengths. So if you have them assigned as governors, if you influence them, if you get that up over 100, then you'll be getting even more. And considering that this is close to 1/3 of his overall science input just from his wife, then you should really be doubling down, tripling down on getting the benefits that you can out of the people close to you. Same goes with your children. You want to make sure they stay tutored up. You want to make sure you stay close with them. 1, so they don't murder you. And 2, so they continue to also give you those tasty, tasty stats. The Roman scout is keeping eyes on Babylonian expansion. We does know that this is going to be the contested place. It is depending on who aggresses first. If Scion is aggressing in to Seasand here, this is the better defensive battlefield, considering the likely military makeup. Again, if we get some melee units here in these woods, and we use the open area to bring in his ranged units to get some nice routes off, that could be devastating for the Babylonian pursuits. Meanwhile, Scion is trying to clear as much of the map as he can, getting a clear beeline all the way over. Still has not found any of the cities, but he knows that there is no southern expansion to mirror his own. So definitely a good thing to keep in mind. He is aware where Rome is from events that have come up. So he knows that none of these sites south have been claimed at all. The makeup of the military is slingers. The strategy that he is going for, rushing into Spoked Wheel in 10 years, is going to be potent up against the makeup that he is seeing here, especially if the contested area is this flat land. That being said, the unit composition that Scion is going to be bringing into it with his Akkadian Archer will be the stronger unit. Let's take a quick look over at this double hero play. We have 800 civics being stockpiled for Babylon. We have, stockpiled for Rome. And we have only 200 stockpiled here. The training seems to be utilized only on a couple of promotions and a couple of general assignments. So that is a grand total of likely one of these came naturally from just leveling up. So probably only likely 300 overall training. I wonder if the Romans have been getting additional training from events. Looking to grab this nation as well. It will be additional groves. Now, granted, he is not teching into the path, but if we get out of this early slugfest, getting Portcullis into land consolidation would be a potent early game science engine. So it would certainly let him, wherever he wants to go after that, catch up, but that will limit him to only access to his chariots as level 5 units. right? Clear speed has increased, but we have no settler yet to speak of for Rome. Nothing in the works either. Going for a big economic play. Not sure if I agree with a second settler here, although it does look like this worker did migrate on over. As far as things that they had to build, Rome does start with stone cutting. I'm surprised to not see this marble be brought online beforehand. The marble and this wheat, for the matter. We also have access to additional resources that could be get up by putting some hamlets down. Certainly not a bad way to go about it. And with his stone stockpile, it wouldn't be a bad use of his resources, considering he has no access to other urban improvements at this point in the game, and won't for another decade. Let's see where he puts the heir in for education. That'll be a nice decider. He is going to be tutoring them immediately. And it is using his wife as a tutor. I don't hate this as a strategy. I am a big proponent of tutoring up your kids. I am not certain that the short-term gains from having her as the governor would make this, the right play. It might have been smarter to keep her here, and that's coming from me. But it's definitely not a bad play. Especially if you plan on the game going into the mid to late game, having a good succession is very important to the overall strength of your nation. If you end up with a crappy second leader, then it doesn't matter how good of a early game you had. If your opponent is able to then catch up with their better leader or take a dominant position. Taking a look over at the graphs on military score, Rome is still taking a commanding lead, doing Rome things. Nearly 25% more on his overall military gains. As far as science is concerned, they had been going back and forth, neck and neck. Nice to see that he was able to beat out that early lead that came from it. And as his culture levels go up, while his leader is still alive, this number will increase to further bring this difference down and down. But we still have a 5 science increase for the Babylon player, which is, again, unsurprising. So both players, or both nations, really leaning into their strengths. Babylon gaining more science, Rome getting more military strength. Considering the strategy here of 2 heroes, it does seem like that kind of strength is important. We do see this camel flagged. We do see a settler coming out. I would expect to see maybe a military city here. Maybe another hunters here to start getting camel archers with forestry that is going to put him in a position to go for land consolidation very easy. Camel archers on top of these 2 units would be a nice military mix. Not to mention, all of this is going to give him 1, 2, 3, 4 chances to get additional free units to utilize his tech from. So if he is going for a solid all-in push, that's definitely a way to leverage his beneficial science game. Okay, we have chosen to disappoint the child, tutoring them and disappointing them. The little bit of, opposite missions there. If you are going to be leaning into tutoring your child as opposed to assigning her as the governor, I would like to see you also try to make nice. Getting all these extra stats and then having this person turn against you isn't always the best, but disappointed is easy enough to shrug off this early on. We have 8 years here on the heir in Babylon. Wow. An educated scholar. A lot of science coming out of her. Very nice to see. Solid pickup. Would have liked to see her get assigned somewhere. Is she a courtier? No. No, not a courtier. In fact, we have no courtiers here in the Babylon court. Would like to see her get assigned as a governor if she was, for instance, here instead of the science we'd be getting. It's an extra 1 science, 2 science, but in the early game, that is a lot. All of these small little bits add up time over time, and if eventually he does decide to get on more specialists, then that can certainly be advantageous. But considering his playthrough, considering his chosen technologies, we have no divination, so we have no additional science that we can even speak of. But things like mill drill and getting your officers would then get multiplied by that 7 wisdom spouse. So that would be nice to see. Okay. Seasand choosing to instead see 1, 2, 3 sources of marble here and saying there is no better way to put down a Sage's seat than right here. He is aware it's on the front lines, so it is a bit surprising to see him not, what would that be? Triple down on a potential hunter's family here. But I certainly don't disagree with the play. It's a bit greedier. It's a bit more long-term focused. But we will see how that plays out for him. The tech that he unlocked appears to be metaphysics, which is, a horrible low roll. Not a horrible low roll. I mean, you do get the option to do some additional theologies and high sun odd, but it's certainly not what you're looking for with the access to all of these other techs that were possible. So a bit of a low roll there for scientific. But I do like turning sages into a military seat. Oh, we got to pause. All right. Need to change my tooltip settings. Fair enough. I wonder what he's doing. There is a particular tooltip setting that I would like to bring to everybody's attention. I believe it's... Where would it be? Camel plus Stompy Boy army would be very Scion. Yes, it would be very, very Scion. Let's see. I forget where it is. Maybe somebody in chat can assist. But there is a... Yeah, I think it's here. Yeah, advanced help text. If you don't already have this enabled, everybody, especially for more advanced players, I would definitely recommend enabling it. What that is going to do is when... Well, amongst other things, but most importantly for multiplayer, is when you hover over your opponent's nation up here in the top left-hand corner, it's going to give you their city number and their law number. So on top of just knowing whether or not they are, similar in strength, similar in scientific capability, it'll also show you how they're doing on their timing, especially if unique units are going to be coming on out. Do they have like several developing cities and 3 laws? Well, you could be seeing a 4-law rush coming out. If they have a judge on the throne, expect to see unique units hitting the field sooner rather than later. So early warning signs that you can get your hands on are very good. If that is what Seasand is turning on, I would be very proud. Thank you, Jams. Much appreciated. Okay, as I was saying, I am a big fan of turning the sages into a military family, getting a couple of barracks and ranges down here, because while they also will get all that training out and turn them into a very strong military seat, especially with those officers coming online a lot faster due to this marble, it will also give you 1 extra science per each of them, which is essentially equivalent to a developing city with the centralization law passed on it, which is a huge overall boon. So I would definitely... be curious. In fact, I'm would almost guarantee that's the direction that he's going on with this. He has no other urban tiles highlighted. Nothing here to give us what he's looking for. But I would expect to see divination. I would expect to see mill drill, and then maybe working his way up this top part of the path to get those extra available orders. All right, we have the Acadian Archer. Got that from the free tech card. Let's see if he goes for the free archer immediately after, or if he goes for Stompy Boys and Camels. Do we have the access for Stompy Boys? I'm not seeing any elephants on the Babylonian side, but I do see 1, 2 camel spots. We have a Stompy Boy location down here in the south. I do believe that Scion has seen that site. He has not, so he's not aware that that site is available. He's only seen this mountain. So he is not currently aware, I believe. that this is here. Unless he grabbed this. Let's take a peek. We can't see the nitty-gritty, but based on where the Fog of War is here for Babylon, I don't suspect that he's seen this elephant tile yet. Meanwhile, taking a look over at Rome, we have a little less scouting going on, but his eyes are on the right spot. If you are not going to scout deep into your opponent's territory to try to glean additional stuff, to try to harass, then keeping your eyes on where their military movements are is the best way to go about it. He's currently lost the threat here, but he sees where the next likely forward settle would be coming out of Babylon. So it makes sense that he's keeping his unit right here, if not moving it elsewhere, to keep an eye out for additional aggressive expansion. Spoke fuel coming out on 2 turns. We do have the horses improved here. 2 turns on the settler. With this well timed, I would expect to see a chariot being immediately produced out of Roma. I would love to see a hamlet placed here to grab this early ore. I think that'd be really advantageous, especially in your champion seat, especially if he wants to be pumping out slingers and warriors to complement his chariot rush. Military-wise, Babylon has massively shot up. That is going to be due to the advantage of his proc Acadian archer, and you can see how much that 1 tech card is really taking into play, going from 160 to 220. So an additional 60 bonus is coming from just that 1 unit. And quite frankly, it's a very powerful unit. He has already begun to upgrade it. We have Besieger on it already. That is a terrifying aggressive display right there. Both players are aware that the other is a hero. Yeah, Cyan is really fast expanding. If you are going to be going into the game with a quote-unquote non-science or urban or economy-based leader, you do want to take advantage of your military leader to expand as quickly as this is. You are sacrificing essentially going tall with going wide. You know, classic 4X stuff. And I would not be surprised if you completely left this northern camp alone. Might be a little annoying if it raids down here into the south, but they won't go on raids unless one of these guys just slowly lose their way. It is in range. It'll be interesting to see where this unit moves in the next turn or two. We have lumber mills already hitting the area. Makes sense if we're going to be doing an archer rush. Do we have... Yep, lands consolidation coming on through. In land consolidation, we do know that the camel archer is going to be a wood-consuming unit, so being able to keep on with that overall cost turn over turn is going to be important. I would love to see these food numbers get up a little bit higher. 30 is certainly respectable for this time in the game. And no, but he does have 1, 2, 3 other reasonable places to put down farms. Some lush tiles here behind and temperate as well. So a lot more food to be gotten right here in this Babylon breadbasket. 10 years until the big power spike for unit production coming out of Babylon. Conversely, we are there now officially for Rome, dealing with a little bit of a uprising here in the capital. Shame to see. But I would expect that we'd still see that chariot come out just to deal with this unit if we don't already see units coming on back. We do have a warrior in the area, a slinger in 6 turns. But we are going 1, 2, 3 slingers for production. We are going all in on military here. And we're switching over to tight. We could be seeing first blood at any point. Hero leader has been officially strapped onto the Acadian archer. Military score still in the favor of Scion. Plateaued for many turns now. For Seasand, but that will not remain the same. If Scion is thinking he's catching him unaware, that was simply incorrect. Reinforcements are soon to be coming for the Roman forces. All out of orders here, hoping that he picks his production here. Let's take a look at the promotions over on these units. We have Besieger, Warden, and Heckler, and Eagle Eye. Some strong promotions on the early units here out of Babylon. But with all these units being particularly spicy, that does not give him much leeway as far as fodder is concerned. Losing each and every one of these units is going to hurt a little bit more than, say, losing the militia over on the Roman side. But that's not to say that that's the wrong way to go about it. Having a little bit more of elite forces coming on in is certainly the way to go. Fluffy brings up a good point. Again, taking a look over at the hero-on-hero implications. The training being brought up by both players is going to be very, very important. Spending on these early upgrades, passing around the assignment of his king, while I do think is the right move, and 100 training is not a slouch, but that is going to be 6 turns until he has access to a launch offensive. And considering his healing up and his aggressive posturing and the fact that they switched over to tight, we might not have 6 turns until we see a conflict break out. Meanwhile, over here in Rome, they have the opposite situation. A very nice stockpile. No promotions being added onto their units outside of what is naturally earned, but a very, very small, in comparison, a quarter of the size of the training economy. So they will have an access to a launch offensive next turn, or in this case, maybe a launch defensive if Seasand comes on in aggressive. But definitely something to keep in mind. That is going to be ticked down because they are training in every single one of their cities, and which is going to be more important to leveling out this conflict coming in. But yes, as these drop off, as these production queues drop off, we are going to see this number increase. Does Seasand have colonies or just swapping tiles between cities? Well, let's take a peek. I don't believe Seasand has any laws outside of what he's been given naturally by the Babylon past. Only exploration here. Definitely is going to be nice for some river movement. There is some nice rivers here in the center. Nothing really that's super impressive. Getting any of his forces up over these hills is going to be hard. He's currently trying to catch up on his science game, trying to boost out this land consolidation earlier by getting these archives out. That is going to be an extra 10 on completion, or in other words, an increase of 2 science a turn during the time of production. If it takes 5 turns to make and it rewards you 10 science, that's 2 science a turn, essentially as the increase. And when it's over, it'll be an extra 1 science a turn. So definitely something to take a look at. It's pretty amusing. 6 years until Pyramids is done. An interesting concept considering that he's not teching towards any laws at this point. It's a nice thing to get on as far as a pivot is concerned. Getting Pyramids now, going for early science. You can get a whole bunch of 2 science per for each lumber mill. You can get science from going barracks and early military. That this itself is not a bad science engine by going, compo and ranges, mill drill, land consolidation, all up to into manor and into bodkin arrow is a very potent line if you lean into the grove, the barracks, and the range science made available. Oh, and the lumber mill science made available. But however, that strategy lends you only 1 law. So again, that does raise the question as to why the pyramids and their specific discount. Getting the 1 order is nice, but it's a lot to spend on just an order. I do agree. It does make sense. It would be weird to have colonies in this particular position if he is positioning himself to do an attack. Going for serfdom, if that law was available, or if that law choice was available, would certainly be the way to go. A worker coming out, I think it'd be no surprise to anybody if we saw 1, 2, 3 mines come out immediately, maybe even a second worker out of here, just to make sure we're getting these mines up in time for when land consolidation comes online. Although, yes, he did buy this away. Okay, so he did take the time to buy this away. And now we have the camel starting to be built in the hunter cities. So yes, Um, that was the idea. Do love this. Very smart because you want your ranged units that are being produced inside of your hunter's nation to have the hunter's bonus of Sentinel. If you do end up on the back foot, if you do end up on the defense, or after you capture a city on the offense, being able to hold that, once it's finally captured and not in anarchy, then it's really nice to have that additional strength. As far as our camels are concerned, if they are able to push through the first battle here and push into these hills, they are going to get that nomad bonus from being on top of this arid landscape, which is going to be very strong. The hills are also going to increase their range, which is going to be quite potent as well. So positioning is going to be very important for these camels coming on through. Love to see it. Now, if they fall back, I suppose it's different over here because it's not a mirror map. On the Roman side, there is still some sand, some arid to be taken advantage of, but it's only going to come after major early conflicts and major ground has been ceded, if ground is ceded at all. Rome has eyes over on this Babylonian unit. He is aware that the hero is strapped to an Akkadian archer. It's got to be a little bit spooky to see a 7-strength unit out on the field with Besieger attached to it. It's definitely going to make you keep using your production queues to be pumping out units like he is. Can't argue with that strategy. And taking a look at the military score, we are still in a continuous plateau for both players since the last jump. We have a whole bunch more units coming out for Rome, and as far as I can tell, only one additional unit coming out from Scion here. It seems that maybe he's pivoting away from some early aggression and maybe into mid-game aggression. The land consolidation play would certainly lend itself to that. We do not have these camels yet approved. We have 6 more years to get them online to be able to do that in concert. 4 years until the pyramids are done. I'd like to see maybe this unit getting dragged around this way to come and get these camels improved. There's nothing really else that needs to get improved here in the city. Obviously, more food would be nice for the camel play, but you need camels to do the camel play. Archive 2 versus another builder is interesting. I would agree. You have the access to do more builders inside of a nation, but it's not like he's missing out on workers. He's got 3 more workers about to hit the field, so his economy is going to be going off. And these 2 archives are going to come out before land consolidation is done, so they will speed up the production of land consolidation, maybe by a full turn. That'll be 20 science awarded and 10 science awarded, so essentially a full turn will be shaved off. Now granted, 1 turn may not seem like a lot, but when you're talking about like 10 turn windows where you're able to utilize a power spike over your opponent, 1 turn is a 10% increase on the effectiveness of that power spike coming out. So yes, it is an interesting play, but I'm not surprised to see it. Babylon has expanded out to 6 cities compared to Rome's 4. Rome does have another spot to place a settler in, but no settlers on the horizon. Oh, and the attack is already coming on in. Okay. Scion is pushing in here. Huge damage coming out. In response, we do have a warrior coming out. Good positioning. Only going to take 4 damage in return. We have a warrior here and another slinger coming out. We have 2 turns left on the clock. We'd like to see other units being brought into the front. Chariot 4 turns away to be able to lend help here over in Scalabus. But oh my god, what a huge first hit. Scion is in a little bit of trouble here. This unit is zone of control locked into place here. Losing out on his free unit, his free unique unit, would be a massive loss. Scion currently does not have any training available to him to be able to do a launch offensive to help him wiggle this unit out, and he'll be taking 6 damage turn over turn from just these 2 units. The question, however, is will this city be able to hold up longer than this unit will? Reinforcements are capable of coming on in, and they're going to have to try to dislodge his unique unit here. Considering that it is a unit here inside of an urban. Urban is going to be giving an extra 25% defense to it, so it's not a bad place for his archer to be. Additionally, we do have a besieger here, which is why you're going to be seeing that huge increase on damage coming out of this unit. Yes, very bold with this unit. Being zone of control locked has got to be a little bit frustrating. But Scion, in his classic fashion, triples down, comes out with breaking the full defenses of this city, and a little bit of damage now placed on here. 14 orders is only going to get you so far. He bought an extra 2, using his training as opposed to saving it just to get this unit a little bit closer. I don't know if I agree with that play, but that does get this unit at least in range to be utilized in the fight next turn. Switching over to the Roman perspective, we still have him zone of control locked. We know that we have only 1 hit available to us here on our city from that repair project. Or actually not from the repair project, that's just natural healing. So this city will be able to absorb at least 1 hit from these units. Grabbing a heal and bringing more reinforcements to the front. Would love to see this commander being brought out as well. It would be able to do another 4 damage to this unit. I actually think a force march here might have been more advantageous. I think you could have slung here, 4 damage, 3 damage. If he was over here, it would have been another 2 damage. 4, 3, 2, that's 9. Rushed in another 4, that would bring you up to 13. Yeah, that would kill this unit. So I think he could have taken out the unique unit here. If he chooses not to, the amount of damage that he will be doing is likely close to 10 damage on this unit after the defenses fall. But yes, Scion is in a tricky spot here. Definitely in a... definitely going to have to try to squeeze that unit out if possible. Could potentially see a launch offensive here just to claim that unit. Big shout out to the rounding errors that can be the bane of the existence. Oh, and we are force marching. Do we have the orders for it? We're going to spend the training for it to get in. It's not quite enough damage, but we are able to get it here with the leader if we buy yet another order. So, did not have to launch offensive, but did have to spend a good chunk of training. Think that could have been accomplished a little bit cheaper. But do love to see the commitment to the bit and grabbing that unique unit off the field. Very strong showing from Seasand, very aggressive showing from Scion, but Seasand is not going to lay down to the more experienced player. Love to see the rising dark horse. Back over in Babylon, we have 3 units here available. But you are going to be looking at now a very different picture in a second. When we saw that, 60 increase from that unit, we're going to see a 60 drop in a second. Go from 220 probably back down to 160, which would put him beneath the strength of the Roman contingent. When you are going up against superior forces, you have to retreat. So getting your additional generals down here, getting additional promotions here, certainly the right strategy to bring these forces out. In these woods, they are still capable of taking a little bit of a beating, but based off their positioning, especially with this tactician being the most vulnerable unit, having 4 vectors of available attack, we'll be dishing a whole bunch of damage out in return. And even if all units were brought in, this unit would not fall. More slingers racing to the front. More slingers in rapid production. Land consolidation right around the corner. Probably will see some idling here. Actually, we don't have the camels up and available, so we won't see this idle just yet. We need to see these camels on lawn before we can see them start being produced. And 2 years here, would expect to see a camel archer come out immediately behind this slinger. He has the economy to back it up. Can at least afford 3 with the wood he currently has, and 20 a year is so much for turn 30 in the game, really showing off the power of rushing down forestry. But Cyan is going to have to pivot. That was a huge amount of the power, and he chose to forego the additional free archer. So the amount of power that he was able to generate has been significantly diminished. The question now is, will Seasand take advantage of that? He's got to be feeling pretty strong after that fight. He's still getting pillaged all over the place here in the capital, but he obviously couldn't afford the orders to be brought away. We have some heals coming up, some repair damage coming here, a little bit of a ceasefire between the players. Would expect to see this slinger come up and start picking at this other slinger out here in the wild. The economy here is a lot less to look at, especially if you are going to be rushing chariots. I love the chariot play. I love the chariot rush. It's a very strong play, but you need the economy to back it up. Obviously, he is going to be being dragged down significantly by this loss of 7.5, 15.5. So we're looking at what, 22, 23 food being taken out of his economy right now, not to mention a good chunk of gold. So yes, these negatives are coming from these pillaged tiles. He is throwing the unit on here to body block the horses. I really like this. You obviously don't want this barb to come in and pillage any more tiles or to ruin your chances of making this chariot. That would be heartbreaking considering the amount of production that he's put into it. Yeah, definitely the wise choice considering that he could have instead brought this unit up for the forward movement it took to bring this worker over. So definitely a smart move here. I do like to see that coming out of the Roman player. Well done, Seasand. Eyes on all of the units up here in the forest. He is aware of what he has. We have a whole bunch of attack here. Cyan really wants to bring my eyes over to this. I agree. Oh, and there goes the server. All right, we have lost a little bit of connection to the server. Going to let the players get a chance to bring it back around. But good question, Beckelstein. Taking a look at the political situation over in Babylon. We have nice margins, not in any worries of having any additional rebellion coming on through. We might have to worry about this unit right here being close enough to come in and squash this granary, which would certainly hurt the food benefits here. But outside of that, not a lot of threats. I don't think we're going to see Seasand move in until he has a chance to bring some more chariots out to the front, and that's going to be slow going considering his economy. Looking back at the political situation over for the Roman player, we have much worse of a political situation, certainly where we saw this unit come out, and that could potentially slow down any aggression. So Cyan is likely going to have an opportunity to come back, lick his wounds, and come out for a stronger camel push, maybe even wait for camels and archers. Could be strong. And quite frankly, if you're going to wait for camels and archers getting all the way to here, it's only 2 more techs after that to get to Bodkinero. So again, with the huge amount of science that's going to be available to him from woodcutters, from officers, double officers, and does he have any groves available? Any groves, any groves. Very unlike the other side of the map, there are no groves here. Granted, what he lacks the opportunity to really take advantage of his land consolidation play in science on this side of the map. It's not like his side of the map is lacking. This triple marble here for the Sage's Seat, this triple iron here for the forward Hunter's City is very, very powerful in and of itself. He's got plenty of rivers to take advantage of these lumber mills, plenty of mines. So definitely not a bad map setup for the Babylon nation. Thank you, Fluffy. I'll go ahead and pop on out of the game. We are going to exit to the main menu. Cyan is going to rehost, and we are going to rejoin. All right, we are over on the Roman turn. Oh, on neither player's turn. Both players are simultaneously out of orders. Yep, it will be passing over to the Roman turn in a second. Here we are. We have another unnatural threat. Looks like they've been hit by a flood. Didn't damage any tiles, however, so that's still very good. Looks like they're repeating the turn that he just had, moving his units back on over. Still the right decision. Glad he's remembering it. Sometimes it is easy to get flustered in a network match like this, but Seasand is definitely keeping his cool. Definitely appreciate seeing that. Certainly not an easy matchup he's found himself here in the second match of the tournament, but he is holding his own. Taking a look over the overall scores outside of military. We have a commanding lead coming out of the Babylon player. Not to be unexpected, but 41-19 is going to be brutal if we do not see some early aggression coming out of Rome here. Rome is in a nice position. They do have a lot of troops. They were able to take a huge power spike off of the Babylon player. But if he does not press out, then this Science lead can spiral out of control. And it's not like Scion is missing any marks when it comes to his tech pathing. Land consolidation is going to be immediately online. That is going to give him a power spike and the option to get 2 additional free units, which will certainly turn the tides back into his favor if he so chooses. Oh, it looks like we have a barbarian invasion coming in onto the Babylonian lands. That is a brutal turn of events. We see the troops immediately coming back, falling back from the forest, needing to take care of the situation. A raid coming in from the Thracians just as the right timing. And still no advancement from the barbarians up here, so he's at least saved that one particular saving grace, but a very, very scary position for the Babylons to have to recover into. They have a nice lead as far as economic setup is concerned. So if, again, the Rome is unable to take advantage of their military superiority in this moment to set the Babylon player back, then Scion could potentially continue to run away with the mid game. Seasand is showing very good on his early game tactics, but as a warmonger myself, I will be the first one to admit it takes more than battlefield prowess to win out a multiplayer game in this tournament. Taking a look over at the next line, we have a Swift Zealot, so very fast boys. Zealot gets +1 mobility, Swift gets +1 mobility, and Rome gets +1 mobility. We could be seeing 6 mobility units coming out by the pivot on over to our new son, the warrior here. We do have a whole bunch of civic stockpiled. We are not going for any laws going into mill drill next, so this is going to continue to grow. It'll be very nice to see a couple of conversions coming over if we see some early aggression coming out of the Roman player. I do think that's the play. I think he needs to, make while the sun is shining and get some more units out. He does not have a state religion, so he won't be seeing any rushing utilizing his training economy, but it's not the end of the world. I would like to see these units start being brought up to the front. I understand the need for more economic development. He is behind in that regard. He especially needs to fix up these food tiles. I'd like to see some additional granaries placed around, but we do not have access to administration yet. Mill drill is a good pickup. I do like the concept of going for additional production. It does lend itself to steel, which we see is already highlighted. So he is looking for his own free unit. He is looking for his own axemen to upgrade his existing military force, all of which will be very good. So we could be seeing a push coming out of him, but we are going to need to see that push coming out from him if he's going to continue to survive this game. But it's made even less likely due to his political situation. Not that Babylon is in any better of a condition, but based off the scouting that we've currently seen, we have no idea that they're in these dire straits. Both nations are... Only one nation is at war with the tribes, but peace isn't going to save you from raids. Could definitely be seeing some additional raids coming out of this Thracian site. Actually, they still haven't met these Thracians. Despite these borders, none of the Thracians have wandered up here to make themselves known to the Roman forces. That could be a bit of good luck if these Thracians decide to raid in another direction. None of these are raiders from the Thracian sites, are they? No. That's all just straight up barbs. Seems like not a lot of units here in the Thracian Sea, considering the time of the game. I wonder if... No, these have to be raiding from right here. Babylon moving some more troops into position. Rough place to having to do this battle, considering the military makeup. He is only ranged, so shooting into these forests is going to really slow down the culling of this barbarian horde. And we do have one slipping past our borders here. Not a lot for him to come in and pillage. The lumber mills are well defended by the other side of the city. His stone economy as well. We do have one vulnerable lumber mill here and this mine, but no miner on it yet. So not the worst if this goes down. His economy will survive the gold loss. More food coming online. Love to see that if you're going to be leaning more into camels. And we have one camel being spat out and another camel being improved. So we are going to be seeing a double camel city play here. And yes, 1-2 mines immediately getting dropped. Love that. Even with the off-color worker coming in to improve this. Very smart. You want to get all of these up as fast as possible, considering that you're going to be able to make your camel archers out of here. Them being 4-turn camel archers already. Oh my lord. 19 training already inside of the city, signing his leader as the governor here. I think that's a very smart move. Taking advantage of that training as your leader to push out additional units is going to be more important than keeping him on the field of battle to just deal with these slingers or these barbarian raiders. I think that is absolutely the right play. Over on the Roman side, we are moving more of our units to the front. We are preparing for a potential move out. Mill drill is going to be on in 3 years. We are seeing very little additional investment in his scientific game. Only 0.8 coming online right here. Mill drill might be a potential solve for that. Officers are a very likely specialist to rely on when you find yourself in a position like this. Six orders left. We'll love to see him finish off this incursion right here. Yep, there we go. Probably going to fix up this farm as well. Anything else that I would like to see out of him? No, his forces are in the right spot. He's working on the right stuff. Mines are coming out. Food is being worked on. I would love to see more food. Not a lot of rivers that are making themselves known. Certainly nothing lush. We have some lush tiles in here. We'd love to see this worker start working on just any farms you can get your hands on at this point. Couple of good tiles right here. We'd love to see farms dropped here. Here, here, and here. Yeah, this whole area should be turned into farms. Especially if you know your strongest unit that's being able to be developed is out. I would love to see a hamlet here to grab these other horses. Definitely more he could be doing to pushing his power spike. Military-wise, as far as that power spike is concerned, we have seen Rome massively increase in strength. All those units that we saw during the scientific invasion have massively shot up. His score is nearly doubled now. No, not quite, but a 50%, more than 50% increase in the overall strength of his nation. Rome, unfortunately, doesn't have the scouting to be able to see that he is under this huge threat. So if he was to attack right now, as soon as this chariot is available, that would be the right play. I wonder if he will see it. He's got to see himself at least as stronger here. But I wonder if he's going to be at least a little bit skittish going into ranged units in this wide open field. Got to feel a little bit stronger with a chariot in your back pocket. In fact, we are going to be of developing culture in 2 turns. I wonder if we'll see a rush or if we'll see these civics being held onto for future conversions with the Zealot heir. Looking at the succession line over in the Babylon side, we do have another Zealot, an engineer superstitious one, so it's going to be a solid hit to the science game coming into the next chapter, but he has enough of a lead where I'm not personally concerned. But yeah, no, another zealot would be nice. He also has in the bank enough civics to be able to get a conversion out himself, so we could be seeing some high level units being traded back and forth. Would love to see this particular slinger change hands a couple of times. I think that'd be very funny. But we could also see some camels change hands. We do know that the Roman player knows that the Akkadian archer has come out way too early for 4 laws to be passed. Obviously, he only has 1 law active, and if he did turn on that that view, he would know that that has to be from a card. Now, it takes some pretty deep game knowledge that I'm not certain that Seasand has access to know which tech the free Akkadian card comes out of for Babylon. But he would know that but if he did know that, he would know that that's coming out of forestry. So he knows that land consolidation could be behind, and he does know that there are camels available to the Babylon nation. So he could see the archers coming, but based off of the Roman mill drill pick and the highlighting of steel, I think he's more concerned about getting his own unique unit out, getting his own warriors upgraded, as opposed to looking towards phalanx, which actually would be a shorter tech path for him to get access to a nice level 5 melee unit. Babylon's still hacking away at their hostile invasion. The Gauls doing a good job of being super annoying. Sandstorm coming in, injuring some units, but luckily damaging no tiles. With the camels now available, we have 2 years until we can see them come online in this city. An 8-turn camel is significantly slower than his front lines, but frankly, they're mostly there for moral support, considering the huge increase in training that we have in this city, and more of that training increase to come. Settler being moved to the front line. However, we don't currently have a spot for that settler to go. I wonder which of these 2 sites he's going to be planning on conquering first, considering that here is all of the Hornet's Nest. He might be pushing for the Thracians first and foremost. Oh man, more raids coming out for Rome, out for blood. 4 units now here for the Thracians. They still have not been met by Rome, so I'm not certain that these will raid in the Roman direction. Sion might be getting polluted by a lot more tribal units than he is willing to take on at this point. The camels will certainly help with that endeavor. I would like to see some additional workers be brought back, maybe chop out this forest, make this military clear a little bit easier, while also getting additional wood for your camels. Could be an interesting micro play. Not necessarily necessary, but it would speed up the rate at which you're able to kill these units. On the Roman side, we have done a little to alleviate our situation here. This guy is severely ill. He has the potential of being replaced by some people who have a better opinion. The Queen Consort might be launched into the position of new family head. It would be an extra plus 20 for him in the side of his family, get him out of the negatives. For the Fabii, a lover of the Chancellor. So I do wonder what he chose for this notable event. Yeah, so they're not plotting against him yet. He might have chosen to leave them alone, or maybe demand their loyalty, but they're not influenced either. It is influenced. Only one is influenced. Interesting. Definitely needs to be doing some more work. She is still young enough to be assigned to a general. I know she is considered old, but you have the training for it. If she does not stay the general for that long, then by the time that she flips over, she'll then be a retired general, and you can use this huge training boost to put a retired general in as a governor in a military producing seat. She is the champion's oligarch, so throwing her in here as a very well trained up zealot governor would be huge for military production. Curious about what he picks next for his tech options. We do have Phalanx, Portcullis, Divination available. Personally, I'd like to see a Phalanx pick up here. If he is aware through game knowledge that the camels are coming online, but he might be thinking to go Axemen as a counter to the counter, which I love as a play. If your strongest unit coming out is going to be chariots and you plan on using them heavily for your overall military strategy, then getting the counter to their counter is a very nice way to make a composition for your military. So that is the stronger play for an aggression. As far as the Babylon is concerned, I don't think they're anywhere close to spears, however. They are 3 techs away from spears, so we won't be seeing any easy answer on the Babylonian side to these chariots coming on in. But free horsemen certainly will not hurt. He had also available a court scholar, a horse archer, and architecture. Who would want architecture in this position? He's not worried about. He's worried more about his military, considering their comparison in military strength. And when you have a whole bunch of camel archers coming on, this routing unit is definitely the right choice. Yes, Balaz. A retired governor can be a general. It is a very powerful option that is available to you to utilize these characters after they have, quote-unquote, lost their potency out on the battlefield. So yes, putting somebody in, even if they are old, if they have good governor traits, is great. So if you find yourself with like a strict warlike general, you're like, oh, what a waste. This zealot can't be used for anything. No, throw them onto a unit, let them go through their training, let them retire, and then use that warlike strict governor in your best military seat. It's very, very powerful. Camels do well against chariots, though. Excellent point, Balaz. Good thing to bring up. They will do the extra damage, the camel unit up against the horse units. That is actually a very powerful answer to what's coming out next. So with that being said, yeah, actually, axes are going to be the wrong military makeup here. He's going for divination here. Had the option to go for phalanx. Definitely think this would have been the right call. Although divination will help him recoup his scientific losses and certainly his military production. So I don't hate the play all in all. Yes, absolutely, Fluffy. I would love to see him going instead for the phalanx play here. But again, that does come down to scouting. He may not be aware that he's going for camel archers because he's not aware of where the Akkadian archer free unit came from. And if that's the case, it makes perfect sense. You know, if you're not aware that this is a threat, although he is now. The camel archer has been made itself appear. It is now inside of the scouting. I would love to see a pivot here away from divination over to phalanx if he's paying attention. That would be a devastating turn of events for Sion. Now's the time to do it. He has no other issues that he's dealing with here on the back line. His eyes are likely forward. Camel ho indeed. All right, this barbarian has finally made itself known here to be nice and annoying. But what's one more barb amongst friends? Looks like the invasion might have stopped if this additional Gaul unit is not moving in. He's dealt with the raiders thus far. He has one more here coming in from the Thracians. Seems to be a little bit lost behind this mountain. Didn't quite get the memo. But nope, we are sticking on the divination path. That is too bad. Opportunity missed right there for Seasand. Could be walking himself into a little bit of a wood chipper, going in with the wrong units into a potential aggressive play, which again, he is going to need due to the massive technological disadvantage he's at. 38 to 23. Oh boy. Oh yeah, and with 300 more put into it and that lead only growing turn over turn, it could be very dangerous for Rome to wait any longer than they have to. Divination is more of a long-term play here. Would have, again, really like to see him pivot over to Phalanx for that early game push. But, you know, he's got to be at least a little bit worried. Wants to make sure he's taking care of his units. And here comes that push, not waiting for either upgrade, perhaps. Moving very aggressively into this middle forest area. Definitely the right land to grab if he is going to stage for a battle coming in. Also, Chariot moving to the front. 1 order left. Can only do so much with 12 orders available. The legitimacy here only at 79 to the Babylonian 130. That is going to be a 6th order difference. Let's see, 19 here. 12 here. 7 orders difference between the players. It doesn't matter how big of an army advantage you have if you can't move them all. Legitimacy is definitely a very important thing to keep in mind. A lot of different ways to get that online. Expansion certainly is one of them, and we have not seen Rome put down a new city in quite a long time. We are now finally seeing the settler come out, but that won't be out for 8 years. 5 cities by turn 45 is a bit late. Comparatively, Babylon is sporting 6 cities themselves already, so 50% increase on cities. Twice as many developing cities, or in other words, cities that can rush. And we have the tactical workers coming out to take away any potential scouting opportunities. These are not by accident. These are not just here for the wood. They are here to eliminate any potential scout spots that we might see coming out of the Roman player. Even forced march this unit into position to do so. 20 orders now with those workers freed up from their otherwise order-sucking production. And peace has been finally restored inside of the borders of Babylon. Still nice margins, increasing margins here with the hunters. Love to see that, especially because they are going to be the majority of your power. This extra opinion is going to give you a bonus on overall strength for these units. We can see here on this order that a pleased family is a plus 5% on offense and defense. So would love to see him continue this over 100 margin here. Yes, tactical workers. So Rome sees it as well. Yep, chop, chop, chop. Giving away a little bit of his hand roam for the cheeky comment, but he's got to do it. Rome now sneaking around with his... Oh, interesting. Due to the quick movements, I wonder if that's made available to Scion, or if he saw this unit move out this way, and maybe he thinks it's now in the forest down here, as opposed to coming back up onto this hill. Will Scion likely, in the Scion move, still take out this tree while he's in the area? Or is he going to move these workers down this way to try to chase the Roman scout? Could be a very interesting bait tactic. A good, if it works, it's a great gambit in the use of those orders. Roman forces continuing to move to the front, seizing in what my opinion is, again, from the beginning of this commentary, the ideal spot for his forces to be grabbing this wooded area. Okay, also working on his food economy. Good, in exactly the place I would have expected. Got his other food up on here, going for the adjacency as well. Very nice. Would still love to see this whole riverbed be turned into food. This is the place that would be better suited for, and we have workers available to be doing it. $39 is definitely significantly recovered from where it is. His economy is looking a lot stronger, but I would like to see these numbers increased. Babylon now with a new tech order and with a clear difference in the tech speed that he's looking at. Only 2 turns on these technologies, 3 for Mildrill. Considering that he has a nice option, considering that Camel Archers would be a hilarious play, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw him double down, go for Mildrill right here, try to further boost his training gains up in this front city. Oh, and there comes the princess over on the routing unit. Like to see that. Now, important to remember that when you're putting your zealots, especially your leader zealots, on a routing unit, it is a bit tricky. When they are in the routing, they are also not able to utilize their enlist power. Now, that being said, you're not going to be using your enlist power every single turn. He only has enough banked up to use one, but it is still very important to keep in mind. Your choices are either to route with your unit or to enlist with your unit. You cannot do both. Yep, still took out that tactical spot. Very smart. It was a clever gambit. I do like it. But considering the workers are right in the area, he had no reason not to chop that out. I would like to see him also chop these two spots and not just hold them here with units. Moving back into your turf is an interesting choice. Back over to the Roman side. We have more raiders, this time coming for Rome from the Gauls. Only 2, though. Easy enough to clean up, especially due to the fact they have a champion family. Shouldn't be too much of an issue here. The damage that are able to be done to them is fairly significant. 9 damage on 2. 2 of these warriors could come down to the area and clean them up expeditiously. Generous offer. New decree. Okay, we have an option for a new ambition here. 7 cities is going to be too slow for Rome. 1,000 food. Quite frankly, might help him stay focused, but I also think that's going to be way too long. He's got to be kicking himself for not investing more in food earlier for both this ambition as well as his need for additional units. I would love to see him sell some of his iron, though. Iron and stone to get more chariots out of Roma, but that is an option. Clear 6 tribal sites, and none of these are particularly attractive. If he was going to pick any, in my opinion, it'd likely be the food production, but I don't really think that's the right idea. Again, it might help him stay focused. Try to get that food production up over 100 to get that out in 10 turns, but it'll still be very slow. Got our scout moved into this area. Babylon's going to be dealing with more additional Gaul raiders here, but he planned on moving in on them anyways. I do think we have, yep, a rogue settler with nowhere to go. So he needs to find a home as it is. The Babylon player still might not be aware. This might be a nice little happy surprise to see a Stompy Boy availability here in this new city seat. So it's nice that he's dragging his units out in that way. It is a bit surprising to see him not go for the city down here, especially knowing the player that Sion is. He loves his city civics, so seeing a 4 stone spot has got to be tempting, but if his eyes are directly onto military access, dropping another city right here on the front line to gain additional options as far as a military engagement is concerned, different places to position inside safely, is a good play. Back to the Roman turn, we're doing some additional chopping. But no additional building. Running out a little bit on time here. 9 orders left in the pack, maybe thinking a little bit too much about these events. You could be doing these outside of your turn. $32 seconds left in the bank, being spent right now. No orders being utilized, no decisions coming through. I hope we haven't seen a disconnect come out of Seasand here. Yeah, so oh, there we go, pushing on in. Sorry, I was reading chat. Aggressive move coming here out of Rome. I don't know if I agree with it. It is very potent to be pushing this deeply into territory, especially considering that you're up against Sentinel units. Not all of your units are positioned here. What is the military score even looking like? That is going to be some huge damage coming back in return. This camel itself is capable of doing 7 damage out here in the open if it chooses to. Definitely going to at least be losing his hero unit. And getting a nice little rout off right there. Bang. I imagine that is going to be the end of the Roman engagement. This did seem a little bit foolhardy. But that is how quickly the tables turn right back in Scion's favor. Any power lost by Seasand has been significantly recouped. We can even take a look over at the map to see exactly how much that is. The spike has increased. This attack could not have come on at a worse time. With now 2 camels on the field, another camel right behind it, a 4th camel here. That is a potent military force that he'll be going up against. I think, yeah, oh indeed. I think that we could be seeing a big push come out from Scion here. Scion is in a position with his old hero still on the throne, a solid chunk of training in the back pocket, could be doing a launch offensive into a succession, into a unit steal, would be a awesome play and very up Scion's alley, although unfortunately we do not have the civics for it. Did we spend that on a law? No, no additional laws being purchased. We must have rushed out a unit somewhere. I wonder what we used our civics on. Very interesting. Tactical workers coming in to defend this unit against any additional aggression that might be coming out. Seeing this military composition, I do hope that Rome is reconsidering its overall tech pathing and doesn't select steel here. That instead goes for phalanx, which is once again brought to his attention and should absolutely be the direction that he's going in. This is the choice that can make and break his game right here in the tech tree. Yes, I agree, Fluffy. Turn time, pressure, enforcing mistakes can certainly be an explanation for the attack that we just saw. It was a brutal thing to watch, but it has got to be eye-opening. Hopefully that really focuses in Seasand right here and makes him realize the folly of this steel pick. If he sees 1 camel archer and he sees 2 camel archers, he's got to know there's more coming through it. But no, he is sticking with the aggression, getting a rout in himself. These units are going to be decimated. It is attacking workers. Okay, the rout continues. Attacking the economy, I suppose, is the best he can expect here. But he is going to lose all 3 of these units in response. And we can't blame this one on time pressure. 3 minutes left on the clock. Plenty of room to realize that this was a mistake. And this is going to be a brutal reprisal. Scion is not going to let him get away with this. Scion, a player who loves to punish hubris, can do 1 slinger here, get a route through to continue on to here. So 2 attacks likely coming out of his horseman. Might be a little sketchy to put him out in the open, but with a little bit of scouting from this local scout, he can probably see that's all that Rome has in the chamber. And here comes the reprisal. We have 20 orders left in the bank. Some definite capabilities to be able to get, yes, all the units he needs. 2 camels and a slinger is more than enough to finish this off. Oh, no. Well, I got to appreciate the boldness, but I think we are going to see this responded to in kind with a huge bold move coming out of Scion. There is no way he doesn't see this as an opportunity. 3 warriors taken off the board from where they currently were. The military score is going to further drop, not to mention it's going to continue to spike for Babylon here. That could be the game-defining conflict right there. If he had instead sat back, fortified inside of his borders, fortified inside of these woods, tried to fight off and powered instead into spears, then that we would have seen the seesaw tip back in the favor of Rome here. A little bit of a missed opportunity. And it looks like the tech went into steel because it was highlighted and no tech was picked. I suppose it's got to be hard to look away from, you know, the devastation coming in upon your troops, but you got to remember to choose your tech. Otherwise, the decision will be made for you by the game's AI. Yes, Balaz, that was certainly a hard hit for Rome. I'm not certain he'll be able to bounce back in time for this. We have more warriors coming on, more slingers coming along, but those slingers are not going to be able to stand up that well. The forest is going to be okay. Only 3 damage being done on by his camel archers in the woods. But it's this horseman that has me particularly worried. The horseman is able to do a whole bunch of damage, even in the woods, to these units. The camels, again, you know, they're going to have a hard time chewing through the melee units here, but he's going to have enough of them. He's going to have enough slingers who can, you know, layer themselves up, especially up on these hills, to pepper in over and over again to queue this horseman up for a nice rout. In 2 turns of healing, I think we're going to be seeing a massive attack coming out of Scientific, if he even waits that long. To directly attack into the city, they're still only doing 3 damage apiece, but into 20, that's only going to be necessary 7 hits. So if you can get 4 of them on there, that's going to be taking the city down in 2 turns. A very, very dire situation here for the Roman players. Seasand has been playing very nicely in his early game. His early game is impeccable, I will say. He was able to hold off from the first early invasion. He had some great early expansion, but then we just stalled out. We didn't increase. If you're going to stall out like this, then you have 2 options. It's either build up your military force and push out in a slow, methodical pace, even if it's a slow crawl that gives the opponent an opportunity to attack first. Superior forces will be able to absorb those losses and push on in. Additionally, if you are going to be staying on only a few cities and not going out for military expansion, you need to build up these individual cities as science engines to try to push yourself ahead. If you're going to go tall, go tall. He had the opportunity to do so. A lot of groves were made available. We could have teched our path into that. We could have gone for a huge mid-game power spike with the same available units, with also available slingers, with also available warriors. We could have instead gone for militia and everything down the center of the tree. Rome is excellent at moving in this direction that Babylon took on to take advantage of these groves, and again, take advantage of the officers coming out of both ranges and racks. We're going to be seeing a quick break here from our players. Like to see Rome take a second, clear his head, come back at this with additional force, and try to hold on to the nation that he's had a chance to build. I agree, Jams. Yeah, I like Seasand's boldness, but that will definitely be ill-advised. Sign is going to be brutal now. Solver, absolutely. That is the tea leaves that I'm reading as well. I think we are going to be seeing in the next 2 turns with the heal on this unit a massive push out. Babylon is capable of neither a launch offensive or a conversion with his leader or zealot heir, but he's not going to need it with his current military score well out peaking, and only going to continue to increase. The makeup of his army is a little bit stronger. The positioning of his army is a little bit stronger. The promotions on his units are a little bit stronger. Granted, we have no nomad. We have no additional horse units to go after, but it'll certainly be enough just by sporting the +5 attack here. Jam still no spears either. Not that they are effective against the range as they would be against melee, but still, if he had spears, he'd be a little bit more optimistic. I agree. Spears would definitely be the play here for the Roman player. But no, instead we are locking in steel. A little bit of sunk cost fallacy here, I think, seeing that we've already had invested a little bit of science here and going to be sticking with it. This is the wrong pick to be going in this direction, especially when given the option twice to be going for phalanx. Definitely going to be a critical mistake here, along with that timing of the push. A shame to see here in the mid game, considering the very strong showing Seasand had in the early opening. But yeah, some spears forming out here, slowly pushing in, maybe going up in this direction. Would have been devastating to go into against these units. While they would not have the same defense against the range, their offensive capabilities would still be just as strong. And being able to take down these camel archers effectively with those spears could have been a devastating turn of events. Spears and chariots would have been very hard for the Babylon player to contend with, especially if we saw a little bit more expansion coming out of Rome. And here comes that offensive that we've been talking about. Seasand is not even waiting for his heir to get healed up on this unit. He is moving in immediately, taking whatever kind of hits he can. One unit kill, taking out a worker for his trouble, taking up room in this area, but also splitting his forces a little. This could just be a little bit of harass. You know, bring his forces out here. He realizes in these woods, slingers aren't going to do a lot to him, and warriors themselves are only sporting about 4 damage apiece, so this might be a little bit of a scouting mission, seeing what else the Roman player might have in store, testing the waters before he moves on in. And in the meantime, cleaning up any distractions he might have to deal with before going on this engagement. So again, I do think we're going to be cleaning up, healing up this unit, and then pressing out onto this Roman city. Garrison's coming on down, an interesting play. I think considering the fact that he has no loss to speak of, this has got to be specifically for the orders. Looking at this as the end game, trying to grab a couple more orders that he can on for the final push here. We have more racks coming down, so more units are going to be produced out of Babylon. That's going to be a lot of slingers, I imagine. It's really all that this city is capable of producing. More slingers coming out of here in the south. More camels out of the far east. Camels, slingers. Oh my lord. We definitely have our work cut out for us as Rome. Rome is keeping its engines turned on. Still not letting go of the settler, although I think it's a little bit too late to be trying to expand here. Launching attack without even having iron working researched. Yes, a strategy that we would only see from Scientific himself. Not caring for warriors, not caring for additional resources, not caring for additional orders. He is just going to be pushing forward down the center of the tree, showing off that you don't have to play into this one 4-law rush style that we've been seeing a lot of players utilize, myself included. It's my particular favorite strategy, but because it does give you that huge amount of order economy, but it's not necessary. If you're taking good care of your legitimacy and have 20 orders to speak of, it can certainly work out just fine in your favor. We are coming out from a little bit of aggression here, chipping away, not concentrating our firepower here, probably just looking to stay inside of these forests to limit the amount of reprisals he'll see outside of this unit. Maybe smart considering the fact that this horseman can still do a lot of damage to these units, but will likely lose one of these warriors in response if he decides to be risky with the zealot. I think the smart move might be to retreat, heal up all these units, finish up this incursion, and push out in force. But Seasand's risky. He likes risking it for the... Oh, very risky indeed. Pushing deeper into territory and taking off workers where he sees them, absolutely showing no mercy, just taking off and harassing. To deal with this, the Roman player is going to have to retreat at least some of his forces, maybe majority of his forces, to at least try to zone of control lock these camels down before they're able to just completely devastate the entirety of his economy. If he pulls units out from the front line, leaving this front city defenseless, it'll only give Babylon a new staging area to push out for the second leg of attacks. This is a true Sophie's choice Seasand is putting on top of Seasand here. The chat is loving the camel action. We have love it. Wonder to see if we're going to see a pillage run. Great use of camel mobility. How did Scion get so much legitimacy, by the way? Camel archers ignore zone of control. Oh, no. There is going to be no ability to stop this outside of just slowly harassing them along the way. This camel is now officially down towards half health. But if it's not able to be Zoc-locked, it is going to continue to be a menace, taking out worker after worker. Now, he has no additional vision on more workers to come, but he is certainly able to retreat back into safety in several directions where the mobility of the Roman infantry will not be able to follow. The Geneva Convention has not been invented yet, apparently, here in the old world. Workers are fair game, and taking any pieces off the board seems to be the name of the game for Scion at the moment. How did Scion get a whole bunch of legitimacy? Well, we can certainly find that out. He is considered the good. That's going to be 50 legitimacy all on himself from the cognomen. His ambitions finished have been 2 of them, giving him an additional, and 62 has been given from events. So I imagine that's going to be at least 18 specifically from his declaration of war onto the various tribes on the map. But yes, you do need to be keeping an eye from those events, because even if it's like, hey, it's 4 legitimacy here, it's 2 there, it adds up over time. More harass coming out of the Roman player to the best of their ability, trying to punish this incursion, but it is still not proving to be enough. We are seeing continued eliminations of the additional forces here on the Gallic front. It seems that Scion is going to be content with light harass from these camels. I wonder if he plunges even deeper. He's going to be scouting out first, seeing what's available to him out here in the wilderness. He is not aware on the mirror map, so he does not have the advantage of knowing exactly what the other player is going to be up to. We did have a ping go down somewhere in the middle of the map. I don't see it. Camel Ho. Don't see the message here. Interesting. Yep, 10 from Tribal Invasion as well. Oh, no, no. Scion is going to push his settler and settle Seasand's site. That is very possible. It's an option available to him. It's going to be very order intensive. Potentially, yep, I think too risky. He doesn't want to lose any of these camels to foolhardiness. Oh, no, but he's thrown this unit out here into the woods to be able to throw a hero on it to heal up and then assault and harass the Roman back line. That is going to be very frustrating for Seasand. Oh, there we go. The dark green of the Babylon pings is hard to see. Here are my groves. Scion going all the way for land consolidation, not getting any groves on his side of the map is going to be well, you know, if the Babylon invasion comes and the conquest is finished, they will be rewarded for all the groves that are here on the Roman turf. Too risky is exactly why Scion would do it. That is very true. No one ever expects the moves coming out of a madman. I can't see him going all the way into the back, taking out as much turf as he possibly can. Let's see what is up for grabs on the Roman side. It would be... Let's see. Not a lot has been produced here in Lentia, but it would be able to choke off his ability to make additional chariots. Not that the chariots are going to do him any good against these camels. This might be a matchup, considering the rarity of the camel archer. He might not be aware of the matchup pairing of horses going into camels. This could be, is clearly a devastating mistake. But if he takes them offline, Seasand might actually be able to help him in a weird way by turning his sights back onto greener pastures as far as unit development is concerned. Only 6 orders left. Still some decent scouting here for the Roman player. He is able to see the majority of his forces. He knows not all is lost yet, but I would like to see these units brought in. Fortify is going up. It's not going to protect him against these ranged units as far as counterattacks are concerned, but it will increase the overall defense that they'll be able to deal with. So I do think it's important to at least get some positioning here in this forest, in this urban tiles, whatever you prefer, to try to get you a little bit of help here. We officially have the Swift Zealot on Rome here to see the 6 mobility units. If anything was capable of hunting down a camel archer, it might actually be this particular leader of Rome. It'd be interesting to see if he's able to catch Seasand off guard with the massive mobility of his now infantry, because it is substantial. It's a shame that we don't have the order economy to make the best use of it. With only 13 orders apiece, that would only be able to move 2 units to their full capacity and only be able to strike with 1. We have some training in the back to be able to help with, and we are able to convert 3 units, so it's possible that we can steal one of these units away out in the open. We're only able to do so much damage to a camel archer with a warrior. 4 damage is the max. Steel will help, bring it up to a 5 strength unit itself, but it's not going to be the solid matchup that Seasand is going to need to really make a difference here. Back over onto the Babylonian side. Very curious to watch this down here. A little bit of damage, not the safest spot to heal that Seasand was probably hoping for. The daughter is back. I wonder if the daughter was taken off or that... No, I'm not sure what that was. Here comes the rout. Huge damage coming on through. The skull sight will not last much longer. Additional forces being cleaned up, likely to bring this other slinger in just to get rid of the last final anointment. And there it is. More training coming on to the hero leader here through these kills. Banking up that training. Only so many years left on this unit. He is not dead yet. But the warlike Highlander educated hero is at 61 years of age, and we might not be able to utilize him for much longer. He is still inside of the governorship here in Eshnuna, but he could be assigned over onto a unit. Nope, that training is immediately being utilized. It would appear probably on promotions or the like. Yep, healing still here on this unit here, but it'll keep getting hit. It'll keep getting healed. So I'm not sure that's going to be working out for him long term. But yes, additional promotions getting put on camel archers. We have Highlander here now. It can be very, very strong. I wonder if Seasand's going to be taking the time to actually expand here, taking out additional sites, or if he's just going to go in for the kill. We have another horseman here. Military-wise, it must have come from an event. Yeah, it looks colored to be a mercenary horseman here, so a huge detriment to the war efforts of the resistance of Rome. Definitely a scary spot for Seasand to be in. If Seasand smells blood in the water, although if anyone were to hallucinate blood in the water, it would be Seasand as well. I think we can definitely expect to see some military movements coming out of the Babylon nation. So many more forces getting pumped on out. The military score between them continues to increase. The science between them is already at a very high end. It looks in a dire position for Seasand here. Seasand, again, to give credit where it is due, you had an amazing opening game, but you simply just stalled out, my friend. Very powerful, good strategy. Like to see what I was seeing, but a couple of choices there in the mid game just slowed you down a little bit too much. Spears were definitely the right pivot to be switching on over to, and a couple of those aggressive plays lost you the lead that you otherwise had. Definitely had some potential to give Sion a very difficult time. There was a window of opportunity where you had a chance to really push your lead, but you know, you will have another chance in the next bracket, or there is always the opportunity that a miracle could happen here, but it is a dire situation. We have another comment coming out of our Scion. A stompy boy sighted and located, which means if this is the first one that he's found, he still has not found this one. And it'll be a nice welcome surprise when he gets this unit down here and sees that he's able to get also stompy boys out. He won't be able to rush it, but he will be able to produce it immediately before any additional workers, which I think will be a nice welcome surprise for the Babylonian player. All that nice training coming in from kills. Very nice to see for the stockpiles here in Babylon. But I would like to see a little bit of conservation here. Scion is... Oh, let's see. If we get a notification here. Stompy boy again. Clearly didn't see it before he dropped it. Otherwise, I suspect we would have seen a hunter's family here. More garrisons coming out, really pushing that idea of getting your hands on as much orders as possible. Labor Force is coming online for a second law, so I don't think that this is a play being made for unique units at all. I think it's literally just grabbing whatever orders he can get his hands on. We are not seeing any other options for him to be able to grab additional units, but we are seeing additional aggression here. Grabbing a hero on side of this horseman to try to deal with these last little barbarians up here. Interesting to see Scion stall. Very curious. Would have expected him to push out a little bit more firmly here. But hey, that might just give Seasand the chance he needs. But let's see what he's teching into. Steel is still coming online, which means that we do have access to barracks. So the barracks are coming down. He does have the economy to support more and more getting placed down onto the field, but I would love to see them actually being placed. We have our shrines coming down. That is not going to help you in the overall fight. The Shrine of Soul is excellent for training, but you don't have access to forestry yet. And here it would only give you additional 2 training here. So this has to be only for the culture. It's too late to be worrying about the culture here. We also are too far away from divine rule, so we are unable to actually reap any additional order economy from this play. Would have loved to see an additional barracks come down here, just to get out as many units as you possibly can, get you a chance to actually build some specialists. We have 4 citizens, 2 citizens, 1, 2, 3 citizens, all that could be used to be pumping out additional science and training. Now, granted, a full palette of additional units being brought online in the next 5 years is going to be nice to protect himself against this invasion, and it's likely the right play, all things considered. But it is going to not going to help out his science game. Now only with 17 science at turn 45. And of course, the Zealot isn't going to help you out with that, especially one that is fully military minded. But would love to see this guy in action. Swift, Besieger, and Fierce is devastating. If only we were dealing with only slingers, but it's really this cav that you got to deal with and contend with that's going to be pushing you down into it. So again, taking a look at it, all civics they're keeping up with. Growth isn't that bad. Training is certainly going to be okay, but it's the culture and the science that's really setting Babylon the pace above, pacing from the middle game into the mid to late game. Order economy is also going to be a huge detriment, being 25 to 14. That is nearly more than 50% increase over on top of him. We do have food, and the economy out of Rome is looking very, very strong, with the exception of wood. Obviously, no access to lumber mills, but he is not a slouch on his economic development. It's just the military now that we have to worry about. No moves coming out of either of the players. Seasand just really wanted to get that last city down. No messages on joy from the Stompy Boy. So I am surprised not to see a worker rush down here just so Seasand can get one out. Scouting down here as well to see what this last site has to offer. He is now seeing for the first time that this is in fact a four marble spot. If this game were to go on longer, deep into the 100 turns, we could expect to see this be a massive science hub with a Sage's city being placed into it. Going back over to Rome, 14 orders on the clock. Let's see what he's prioritizing. 3 turns until steel. He'll be able to upgrade all of these warriors into axemen. He has got plenty of iron to do so, plenty of training to do so. So we would definitely like to see in 3 turns a mass upgrade. So he's going to have to stockpile. Hopefully no additional promotions are coming out at this time. It's going to be better to get these units upgraded than to get one small Oh, and we do have damage coming in. Do we have the orders to get here? We do. Certainly the movement, but not the damage. Oh, and this is not a Zoc lock, considering the fact that these camels can escape. They are a very niche unit, not often seen in multiplayer. The AI rarely ever puts these out, so him being unfamiliar with this unit is definitely not outside of the realm of belief here. So this unit, heartbreakingly, will be able to escape. And there goes all of our training. Oh, but we enlisted. The camel is stolen. We used all of our training to do so, a good chunk of our civics to do so, but now a camel has joined the forces of Rome. Will he be able to hold on to it? We have a good amount of damage in the area, but the horses are not going to be able to do a lot of damage to this unit. I think he might escape with this bounty. Seasand recognizes that is in fact the case, and he is moving to take out this zealot, putting this additional camel at risk just to try to drop this one unit, which is fair. There comes the route, going to be coming into yet another attack here. So for the cost of a slinger and a whole bunch of training and a whole bunch of civics, he was able to actually pick up a unit. Will it be enough to turn the tides? No, but he's got to be proud of himself for actually being able to get it down. Rome are taking peace over at Babylon. How many orders do we have left to the turn? We don't have enough orders to completely box this camel in. It will be able to escape, but it's going to cost him 3 warriors, a slinger, all of his training, and 400 civics. Oh my God. With the Swift Zealot Roman camel, it can get everywhere. It can, look at this movement. That is insane. It is a shame we don't have the order economy to really take advantage of this massive capacity of this Zealot, because this is a fierce indeed leader to have strapped to the head of the nation. With a little bit more development, it would have been very hard for Seasand to be able to keep up with this. But Seasand is saying no thank you, not going to go down without a fight, and is instead of running away, is choosing to try to take down this horseman here. It is strapped to the princess, so we could see the loss of the princess over on the Roman side, over on the Babylonian side. Events do occur, but he's all out of orders, all out of training from the last thing. Not quite enough. Again, kind of getting baiting himself into poor errors, poor rounding errors from bringing in these very mobile but very order heavy units. All right, we're going to see a swift reprisal come here from the Babylonian side. Go, camels, go. Should have just retreated with his camel, but now he's going to lose his prized possession that he worked so hard to get his hands on. It is going to take a lot of orders itself to take down this camel. This camel can't really do, well, it can do a lot of damage to these units outside of the woods, but it can't really take a lot of damage as reprisals. It's going to take more than the units available to actually take it down, which is pretty funny. So this camel might still yet escape. Yes, Solver, I do agree. The Roman order shortage and science game, unfortunately, does spell particular doom for the Roman player at this point. The longer that this game goes on, the worse the situation is going to get. He is down on production queues. He is down on economy. He is down on science game. The orders are going to continue to spin out of control as navigation gets unlocked. This situation does not look good. 13 orders versus 26 is just unwinnable. It is. You might be able to defend for a while, but you certainly aren't able to do aggressive plays like this. You have to sit down and wait for the enemy to come to you. Navigation on in 2 turns. Enough civics to go ahead and turn it online. Certainly won't be a problem. Our king is still kicking at the ripe age of 65. Good for him. And he is still just churning out units out of Ashuna. We're looking at 25 overall training in here. Very strong. Haven't even taken the time to build any racks in here. This will be the first one coming on down. Oh my lord. Yeah, the longer this game goes on, the more the full weight of Babylonian development is going to pile down on top of Rome. Escape with your prize, my friend. Zoc locking the Akkadian archer, stealing this camel. Seasand has shown himself to have solid tactics in this game. It is just the fact that he does not have enough orders, does not have enough development to back it up. Plenty of unit production, but the turn 48, churning out a whole bunch of warriors, which those of us in the community do refer to as the idiot stage of the game. Dealing with only slingers, only militia, only warriors, horses being your only saving grace, but in a terrible matchup against the camels is just not going to do you any favors, and steel is not going to save you. The order economy is going to be a big thing that I hope that Seasand takes back to the workshop, figures out how to get a better handle on, because he has shown very excellent thinking ability if he only had the orders to do the tactics that he has in mind. Would love to see this camel escape, if for nothing else but just the bragging rights, but we are down to 3 orders left, and we have not touched these units on the front lines. I don't know if we're just committing them to the slaughter or what the plan is here. But it's got to be a little bit stressful being under this much pressure on the game. I think due to the small order economy, yet the massive move potential of some of these units, he is draining his own resources with the ability to actually move these units around. It is taking 6 orders to move this warrior from wherever the hell it came from to its current position. Oh, and we are going to move the camel. The camel is still insanely tanky to other camels inside of these woods. So it still potentially can survive. 5 damage, 2, 2, 3, 3. So 15 total is still not enough to bring it down. If he brings in just, one more unit, he could actually take out this, but it would be very costly. But to take out a trader might just be worth it. Switching back over to the Babylonian side to see how he prioritizes his movements. That is a very good point, Jams. There's a lot of headspace to get out of when going up against a Titan like Fluffy, Alcaraz, and Scion. Me and you felt that ourselves personally going up against them in the multiplayer brawl. And Scion certainly taught me a personal lesson at the folly of Rome. So I feel for the Roman player here. But it is a very different game going from single player into multiplayer. And especially going after someone with the game knowledge that Scion has, it is certainly something to keep in mind. Against Scion, you can comfort yourself with the thought that Fluffy beats him. That is very true. Fluffy is definitely one of the stronger contenders, but Scion is no slouch. Against Fluffy, you simply cry. That's pretty funny, Solver. But, I potentially could be going up against Fluffy in 2 rounds from now, but I do have to go against Class Koala, who has proven himself to actually be a very strong contender. Going to be very interesting to go up in the match against him shortly. I believe that is potentially set up for this Sunday, but to be determined. We have no more orders left here. We are choosing not to hunt down the trader, but instead continuing to push our economic advantage. It does seem that Scion is leaning into the good old-fashioned wisdom that came from our friend Alcaraz, that when you are ahead, get more ahead, and taking to ensure a solid victory here. But with the massive production that is coming on out, honestly, and what's got to be showing at this point as much stronger, it's time to, hit the iron while it's hot. Here on the Roman side, we are no longer graced with a 3rd chance to get Phalanx. He's going to have to choose, and the order economy is the right way to go about it, but with only 18 science, it's going to take him over a decade to get his hands on it. I'm not certain the game is going to last even that long, considering the current standpoint of it. Units are coming online. More production is going through. No one's able to pump out warriors like Rome. But we are past the part of the game where that is going to be enough to be able to pull you ahead. Spending all of the training to get the Camel Archer was flashy, and I definitely appreciate the boldness of it. But considering what it cost you in troops, considering that it cost you an opportunity cost to be able to upgrade all of these warriors into the axes that might actually be able to hold their own, a camel to an axe in the woods is still doing 4 damage, though. If I was Rome, I'd be chopping all of this, get rid of all of this area, and actually maybe not. Maybe you want to hold on to this. Hold on to the woods. Up against all this range, up against all this cav. Yeah, I guess the woods are a good place to hold on to, but then at least stepping into the woods, start getting some fortifications down, doing something to boost the overall strength of your units. More axemen are coming out, leveraging the Roman economy. He certainly has the stockpiles for it, and he's going to be able to produce them in not bad 3 turns apiece. Scion's giving him enough chance to give him at least too much to chew through. But again, we're baiting ourselves into losing out on all of our orders to move these guys into place to then take our swings out on them. I'm not sure where these units came from. I know we had 1 left here, but we must have brought another warrior to the front just for harass. I'm not certain that's the right play. Going back over to Babylon. We'll see if he lets us stand. They're certainly tanky inside of these woods, but if you just bring out this horseman, that's 11 damage. It's not a lot of chip damage that you need to be able to do a solid route on these 2 warriors, so I don't suspect that they'll live the night. All right, we're retreating back, likely to heal up. But with no orders left, can't really do it. We will get a passive heal here, but no training to purchase. Economy-wise, actually, Rome is surprisingly, due to the fewer cities, is actually a little ahead. The stockpiles are actually quite impressive. He has a wonders level of stone here. I don't think there's any wonders that are going to save him. The best we got is developing culture, so the best wonder he could get here is maybe Ishtar. Give him the capacity to be able to rush more units out. He does have solid training production. He does have a zealot. He does have a nice stockpile of civics. That might be a good use of all of this stone. Seasand is not going to take the bait. He is going to retreat. So these warriors do get that harass off for free. We have our king reassigned onto a routing unit. This might be a bit of a mistake considering the fact that this is a 5 strength unit and this is a 5 strength unit, but this unit has a bad matchup going into against the camels. So I think this assignment is actually the wrong play. But again, I'm not certain that our Roman player is aware of the damage that can come out against horse units from the camel archers. You would think that would be a lesson hard learned now, but it's certainly something that I promise that he will take with him for quite a long time. So many reinforcements still available to the Babylon nation. More coming out. Granted, not the strongest units, but just being able to bury him in bodies is certainly going to be an option. Using all of these units up here in the north, not attacking with them on the previous turn. But that should be able to clear this out fairly easily. Deal with these annoying incursions over here. Heal up, push out once his forces are combined. We are seeing some roads out to the front line. Good catch, Solver. That's going to certainly help with all the reinforcements that are going to be coming out from back here. But again, not our strongest units. And our camel archers are clearly able to be mobile enough to get to the front lines well without roads. The investment is certainly nice, but we are at the point where it is time to go in for the kill and push the advantage that you have. It's got to be showing as much stronger based on military score, although maybe actually just stronger now. But considering the composition of units that you've seen, you got to be pretty aware of what he's got. Not to mention the sight lines that he has back here has shown that he has opted to go for axemen, not spearmen. So that's actually going to be showcasing one further reason why you should be going in, because of the unit composition of the enemy's forces. So I can appreciate the roads, I can appreciate the infrastructure, but I'm surprised, especially for Seasand, for not going with the aggressive option here, but instead choosing to further push his lead. Yeah, Fluffy's got the right idea. He's alongside with me. This is very out of character for our man of war, but you know, it is not a bad play. Getting further ahead, getting more economy to deal with this massive deficit isn't a wrong play. But most optimal, I think, here is to go for the finish. He's taking time to heal up. He is taking time to rid himself of annoyances. And I think once this is done and his forces are completely combined on the front lines, although I've been saying that for probably a decade now, but he is letting Rome get back up on its feet. More axemen are coming out. More training is getting stockpiled. More upgrades are going to be coming on through. It's going to be harder to chew through, especially if he sits in those woods. Yes, tactics win battle, but James is right. Logistics win wars. That is ultimately what comes down to a lot of the gameplay here in the Old World Tournament. Who has taken the time to build up their order economy, make their order economy more efficient by using roads, build up their infrastructure inside of their cities to mass produce units. All of those go in. All of those are factors that ultimately lead up to the success of a nation's military output. So I do agree. This is definitely a way to win a war if he was behind to further streamline his forces. But no, I mean I stand by it. I smell blood, but granted I am the warmonger. So perhaps it's just me beating the war drum. I agree. Short healing break, consolidate forces, definitely the right play to go around. Over on the Roman side, we keep seeing generals being assigned. Again, generals are not bad. 38 years old, 20 years old, and your wife, certainly an excellent choice, especially on a tactician. Granted, you're going up against a major range composition force, so that tactician isn't really going to be utilized. This commander has better stay close to this other unit, so that way it gets its additional bonus. But honestly, I think this unit would be better served, again, on an Axeman. I think all of his generals would be better served on Axeman. And instead of using your training to assign these generals, I would love to instead be seeing the existing warriors being upgraded to really boost your military force. Things can happen to these guys. They can get sick, they can become mad at you, they can become... events are heavy on the people that you assign to certain roles inside of your nation. So it's very possible that you don't get a hold on to this oligarch for as long as it is. Not to mention you'll get even more events for him because he's the oligarch. So would really like to see this training be conserved, to instead be utilized on upgrading your existing warriors, of which you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6, 7 warriors that you could fully upgrade. I think that'd be really nice. Or promotions. Promotions are forever. Generals are only for the time period basis that you have. Generals should really be the last thing you assign when you're getting your military up to strength. Update your military to the most modernized standards. Then promote your units on the ones that, or pick 1 or 2 units, in my opinion. Granted, that's my personal preference to get a huge wrecking ball of a unit. To have 1 or 2 fully upgraded units, that's the one that you assign your best governors to. That's the one you assign your leader to. And then that is the last thing you do with your training. First upgrade units, second promote 1 or 2 units to full strength, 3 assign generals to key units, and then you push out. That should be the stages, in my opinion, of the best way to assign generals, or the best way to utilize your training, especially in the circumstances that we're looking at. Short turn quickly utilized by Scion. Whole bunch of roads, a whole bunch of healing. I wonder if he was using the auto, because that was a very fast turn. It's got to be a little bit daunting, not only going up against an experienced opponent, but also going up against an opponent that is going to be burning through their turns quickly. We are seeing the necropolis getting built. Okay, we're going to be seeing the necropolis. Looks like it is in the Roman city. Necropolis is excellent. It's very nice. You already have, 3 specialists in here. So that's going to be even more culture for you. So if you're looking to get up to strong level culture, this is a great way to go about it. If you are playing that long game, he has 1 law passed. He's working on a second. Science is slightly upticking, and access to 1-2 additional laws is going to be one of the cheapest science investments he's going to be able to have his hands on. Unfortunately, the Hestasus has the Centurion bonus, which is good against the formations. It's basically an improved fortify against ranged units, and it also has access to Centurion, which is a plus 25%, but to melee units, which is not the composition that we're going against. So it's really nice that he's planning on getting yet another 5 strength unit. If he is going for additional laws, additional culture, and trying to get to strong level culture to maybe go for his endgame legionnaire. But all of that is only going to get you so far because it's not the unit composition that you're looking for. Spearman is going to be an even cheaper tech to be going for here. Now, granted, it's not an option in this particular hand, but it's going to be a cheaper way for you to get a better military leverage against the forces that you're currently seeing pile up against you. Now, granted, it does look like Sion is not investing any more in camels, which is a bit surprising to see. It might be because of the food deficit that he finds himself up against and the lack of gold that he has to purchase wood, but there's plenty of wood to chop, plenty of forests that would actually be advantageous for him to chop. And surprisingly, here at turn 53, we are still on the initial ruler. Prime age of 70. You don't often get a ruler to go this late into the game. But we're finally cleared out this site. Distractions are done. I would be shocked if we saw him also clear out this tribal site. But who knows? This might be a new and improved Scion that we're seeing. We see the settlers start moving its way up here to get that city down. New and improved conservative Scion. Never before seen. Oh my god, 31 orders to a comparative 13 is brutal. Walls are going up, defenses are coming out. They are digging in to the best of their ability. I appreciate the stalwartness of the Roman player. But if these pet lists, if they come in, if they raid, that is going to be a very strong unit to have to even deal with your warriors. 3.8 going up against a 5 strength tribal unit could actually be kind of hard for his military composition to be able to handle. Scary position for him to be in. Distractions are coming. Distractions are coming. More 5 strength Javeliers. It's a dire situation here for Rome. The more I look at it, the more I look at the board, the scarier it gets. Yep, massive drop over from the scientific rate here. May have been due to a loss of a wife. Hard to say. Yep, your Queen Consort has died. Queenie has been alive with us for quite a long time. She was a 7 wisdom right from the get-go, so a huge science over output from her is definitely going to be a heavy loss to his overall scientific output. I wouldn't have been surprised if she was eventually assigned as a governorship to one of the heavier science-producing cities, although he doesn't have a lot of science-producing cities. For Scion, this is an abysmal science rate at this point in the game. He might be thinking to himself, he really doesn't need it. But going for architecture is certainly, oh boy. We are saying we will not go silently into that quiet night, and the camels will rush. Rush all the way out to not get a hit. Oh, man. Well, a little gift has been given here to Scion. A quick punch is certainly coming on out. Perhaps they were looking to crush this garrison. Perhaps they were looking to get a stab in on this horseman. But alas, we are out of orders. Because again, we have huge movement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 movement on this camel archer is insane. I wanted to hit the settler. Oh, the settler. Going for the settler harass. That is funny. That is bold. I do like it. I do like it. I like the boldness. But with foolhardy attacks like that, it does make you think how much longer the Roman player thinks he has left in this game. Seasand is throwing away units here. So I wonder if we can expect to see a concession or a concedement coming out shortly. Yes, wrong tile as well. Could have been over here and done 12 damage as opposed to the 10 damage, and an extra 20% increase over on the arid tile. But still, this camel is not annoyingly tanky anymore. 2 camels here over on these tiles into this camel who is not on a nomadic tile is going to really hurt. Yeah, nomad plus 20% offense and defense from arid or sand. So yeah, that would have been definitely the right play to go, because now these guys are going to be able to get that bonus to do 10 damage. 10 damage is, well, it's a lot of damage. It's only going to take 2 camels to come up here, hit, and then go on in. Seasand, I panicked a little at my family's dipping in opinions, spent many orders on that. Yeah, I can always see that. Dealing with internal politics of a nation can be a brutal situation, and it is spiraling further and further out of control. We have negative 100 opinion on 2 families, the 2 most predominant families, quite frankly. Only 1 city now does not have a, what would it be? 10% chance of rebels. Oof. Every turn, 4 cities. That's a big chance. Big chance for rebels. And as expected, the camel archer goes down without too much effort. 2 camels and a slinger being more than enough to take it down. Likely just to make sure we can save a heal option here on this horseman. Oh, and we're going for even more clears. More clears out of Seasand is a bit confusing. I wonder what the strategy is there, or I suppose perhaps he just wants to finalize his half of the map. But there will be only so many more cities to get. Are we working on any more settlers? Not that I see. But we have plenty of vision. Not much is hidden from the eyes of Babylon scouts. We are well aware of what we are up against. And we're not seeing anything that we're too worried about. We have some axemen, we have some chariots, and that's it. Your camels beat chariots, and axemen can be routed through. So you have the perfect composition to be able to go for this. Not the perfect battlefield, but considering the overall strength of your army, I would say it's definitely advantageous. Obviously, fighting in these woods would not be fun for the camel archers, but, you know, you have harass capabilities. Going back off and doing that harass again here, it proved to be very effective. And yes, as expected, we are seeing some rebellions pop out across the nation of Rome. So he is distracted. He's up against a lot. He's even showing his hand to Scion, saying that he is in a bad strategic situation. So it is now time to go for the jugular when it made available. That's possible, Marauder. Says, I think he knows that his king will die soon and may be wary of the orders drop. That is certainly true. You will have a little bit of an orders drop. He does have a large military force. He can be baited into the same traps that Seasand is finding himself in by, you know, having a huge amount of movement available to him and then over moving. Oh, and that's what it is. Well, we have a concede coming out from Rome. And given his vision, given what he's seen over the last 10 years, given how many more units have come on out, and the bit of a demoralizing loss right there, I'm sure it's got to be very frustrating to have lost that last archer. It is too bad. We're going to see if we can get these guys in here for a post-game chat, see if we can get something like that started, so please stand by. Yes, I agree. It's hard to deal with overmounting pressure and the additional family opinion. But let's go ahead. We have Seasand around. I'm sure Cyan would be happy to jump in on the call. Let's go ahead and see if we can get that started. Hello, players. Hi there, Seasand. Yeah, coming in loud and clear over on my side. Chat, do we agree? Hello, Scion. First off, I love that both of your icons are robots. So you guys have that in common. Well, a wonderful duel. CSAN, first, let me go ahead and commend you on a fantastic early game. Seeing everything that you did, the early aggression, the Zocklock of the Acadian Archer, very well played. Really love to see it. But some very interesting plays out of the both of you. I like the chariot rush into Axeman. Getting the counter to your counter is, of course, very strong. But taking those chariots and the axes with no spears into the wide army of the lovely camel archers that we saw Cyan utilize is going to be a difficult play. Cyan, you happy you got a chance to use the camel archers here in this game? Yeah, sorry, chat. My apologies. Trying to get the Discord, but it is not going on through for whatever reason. I do apologize. So we'll be ending the stream here, but I will be releasing obviously the full recording later on. Thanks everybody for joining the stream. Really appreciate it, guys. And in the meantime, happy conquering. The turn two misclick? No, I think we actually missed that, Scion. What was the one you're referring to? Oh, you know what? Actually, I do think I saw a blip of that, but that was a trick of the light. Oh, brutal. Well, guys, it was an amazing game. Really appreciate you guys allowing me to come on for the commentary. It was a lot of fun. Cyan, you said it well yourself. Watching Old World can be just as fun as playing it. So thank you for the very entertaining game. And is there anything else that you guys want as far as takeaways from the game are concerned? Of course. No, you still got another life going down to the lower brackets, so you get another chance to keep on continuing on. Yes, sir. Well, hey, you played like you wanted to go for blood, so I appreciate that as another man of war. So definitely looking forward to seeing more of your gameplay in the lower bracket. Oh yeah, at the end, the swift zealot Roman leader was hilarious, having more mobility on a warrior than a camel archer.
Once you did enlist a camel, it was a pretty big chore to deal with it. So I was like, I don't want to fall into that trap where I have the stronger army, but my opponent's sitting on 200, 2,000 civics and just gets one enlist every turn. And that mobility is just insane. So that's another reason why I was more cautious.
Yeah. Yeah, in my first game, I felt like I really felt the consequences of being the one like at the disadvantage in terms of fatigue. And that was like, I was like, wow, that's really rough to deal with.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why I actually love camel archers, to be honest, because they get that extra. They're tied, I think, with the Egyptian unique unit as the fastest unit in the game. But anyway, I'll let you both guys go. And yeah, thanks again for the game. And thanks so much, Moose, for taking the time to cast.
Hey, of course, man. You've taken the time to go through all of my games and so many others. The least we can do is return the favor.
Yeah, thanks.
All right.
All righty, Teddy.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Well, thanks everybody for tuning into the first ever Moose stream. Really appreciate everybody turning on out. Still got 22 of you lingering around. Sorry for the technical difficulties right there at the end, but hopefully it wasn't too obnoxious to not be able to hear the endgame speech. I do believe it was captured by my OBS recording, so I will be releasing the full video obviously later. But very cool game. Taking another quick peek before we head on home at the overall stats of the game. We do have a huge wealth, surprisingly strong economy coming out of Rome, despite the number of cities that they had. A very, very powerful economy to back up the production queues that he was racing out turn over turn. Total population even also managed to quite keep up, only about 30% behind. Specialists, surprisingly very close, actually. Rome being able to do a lot of those rural specialists, I imagine, out of their keep, but would have liked to see more specialists out of both players, but this was a heavily aggressive game, clearly not a scientific advancement one, so definitely a different play style that we're seeing here. Workers produced, a lot more for Babylon. Military units produced about on the same speed. Kind of goes to show that even with the heavy investments that Babylon was able to put into via racks, officers, and those iron mines they had in that hunter seat for the camel producing city, Rome just doing Rome things with even less cities was still able just to pump out a sheer number of units. The total mercenary tribes, obviously neither between the two, but the kill to death ratio here for Babylon really just showcases the strength of the scientific as a player, wiping out a whole bunch of tribes, especially those there at the end, especially due to the tribal invasion that did ultimately net him the 10 legitimacy, but did detract overall from a little bit of focus he was able to apply to the front. A lot more of those camps were cleared, a lot more spread happening out of Babylon over than Rome. Would have liked to see Rome take a little bit more advantage of his champion family and that steadfast promotion to be able to do a little bit more of clearing. He did a great job at the beginning managing to keep up, but did lose steam right there towards the end of the early game. Text discovered really showcasing the difference of Babylon doing Babylon things. And the longest reign, a 54-year reign coming out of our old undying leader, King Nabopolassar. Yeah, the glorious indeed. Here severely ill and doomed here at the end, but he did manage to make it all the way through. So hats off to both the players. A really fun time streaming the game. Thanks again to everybody else who was coming in for the first ever cast. And in the meantime, happy conquering.